Hello, we are the Democratic Party. Our only stated policy is to tell you to stop Trump. Other than that, we are corporate warmongering whores, just like the Republicans. But we like rainbows. The Democrats. We are civilized.
Welcome to Apocalypse Soon with Eddie Pepitone. On tonight's show, Sam Morril, driving in the rain. And now, your host, Eddie Pepitone.
Yeah! Hey, everybody, welcome to Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside. I'm here with my sidekick, Kevin. Take it, Kevin. How are you, bud?
I'm doing great today, buddy. How are you doing?
Yeah, you doing good, huh?
I'm feeling good. I got pulled over. I got a new ticket in my pocket. I'm feeling fine.
You got pulled over. By the way, before we get into you getting pulled over, which is great, by the way.
Thank you.
I think it is. He got pulled over. You got a speeding ticket. We're going to get into that in a bit, but let's say hello to Bobby and the Mefistofelians.
What's going on there, Ed? How you doing today? Looking fine, footloose, and fancy-free as usual.
Bobby, they say there might be a new variant of concern out there. Are you concerned, Bob?
Oh, yeah, these variants, they come out like Marvel movies. They always making up new shit. Oh, be scared. Be so scared. Not me. Not me. I got a vitamin C pill, and that got me through everything. Got me through the hip. I'm good to go.
All right, Bobby. Bobby, I just want to thank you for being here. You work hand in hand with the devil, which is why you're called the Mefistofelians. I don't know if many people know that you are a Satan worshiper, yet you give to charity.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
So you cover kind of a lot of bases, yeah?
I covered the whole gambit. I want to make sure people are okay, but I got to give the due to the Lord of Darkness when I can.
The Lord of Darkness is indeed someone who watches over all of us here in America and globally. And
Amen.
The Lord of Darkness is winning, I think, the war. But let's go. Let me talk to my producer, Kevin. Kevin, so you got it. What happened? You were speeding. Huh?
I was going too fast. I was getting pumped. I was like, I got a little extra time. I'm gonna go get myself a iced coffee, and I on my way to Starbucks, and the fucking cop pulls me over, and I immediately turned into like a child lost in the mall. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like,
I get scared too. I mean, I talk about. I talk a good game, but when I get pulled over, and I always feel guilty.
Yeah.
Like real guilt. And I'm always afraid the cop is going to ask me a question like, "Sir, how come you can only love yourself?" Like I feel like they see into my soul, like, "Sir, how come you're so extremely selfish?"
Yeah. Do you know how sad you were? Do you have any idea how sad you were going down back there?
Sir, did you ever think that your mother's mental illness was your fault? Imagine that. Like, they have your whole dossier.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you a couple of questions about this pullover in Burbank, California here. Was the guy built? Like, was he cut? Like, a lot of cops in LA, I think, they're cut, but I don't like that. That's
like it either.
Nazification. That's like, to me, I like the guys who have a pot belly.
Yes.
What was this guy like?
He was in good shape, man.
Not good. That's
I know.
scary.
It was the only soothing experience about the whole pullover, because I was panicking, and then I saw. I'm like, take a look at the body on this cop. Oh my God.
Oh, you liked it?
I was wearing sunglasses. I took him down. And I gave him one of those.
Once over.
Oh, I had to do it.
Sir, please don't look at the body. Sir, eyes forward. Yes, I am a member of Crunch, if that even exists anymore. I don't know what gyms exist anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's all an idea to me. They're not even real.
You're not a gym guy?
No, I used to be a personal trainer back in.
Oh my God, I've gone to the Lord of, dare I say, the Lord of Darkness,
yes.
like Bobby, who our band leader, the Mefistofelians, worships. But you were a personal trainer, and now you don't go near a gym?
I don't go near it. I was a personal trainer, and then I got a job at Quiznos, sub sandwiches. and they
Wait a minute.
I had free
that sounds
honey
like a
bacon clubs.
downgrade. You went from personal trainer,
Yeah.
when I know they can make some money.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a personal trainer to the stars. Like if you
Yes.
can train, just, I don't know. I think a guy who needs some, like Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
You could train
I did spot Alan
Jeremy
Autry
Piven.
once from In the Heat of the Night. You remember In the Heat of the Night? So Alan Autry, who was in...
What are you talking about? Alan Autry in the Heat of the Night with Rod Steiger?
I think so.
Jesus, this is an older movie.
Oh, yeah,
the
series, the television series. Yeah,
I don't know that one.
I think it's Sidney Poitier was in there.
Well, Sidney Poitier was in the movie.
The movie, yeah. Bubba from In the Heat of the Night was in Fresno, and I spotted him once when he was doing, so I'm kind of like a trainer to the stars,
But
big time.
you dropped. Let's just get this straight. You dropped being a personal trainer for a job at Quiznos.
Yes, yeah. No, my
What's the thought process there? Like,
So-
I don't love myself?
I was like, I hate myself. I look too attractive. My wife's getting complacent. I had a buddy opened up a franchise and needed somebody to manage a couple of stores. So I
See. Okay,
like,
that I get
yes.
it. It's like helping a buddy. And by the way, I want to talk a little. Is Quiznos still in existence?
don't know.
I don't think they are.
No,
I
no.
mean, I don't think they are. And these sandwich shops, by the way, there's an evil to them, okay? And I'm talking about the shitty sandwich shops,
Yeah.
which are sprinkled throughout the country, found in strip malls. And when I'm driving, long distances and my eyes glaze over, not to brag, like my eyes glaze over like a donut.
Oh.
Okay? They glaze over like a donut, and I'm just driving into the night, or the day. I'm driving it's mostly day when I go to like a Subway or a Quiznos or what's the other one? It's like
Togo's?
There's Togo's. All these shops are evil.
Yeah.
There's a great evil because the bread is horrible. Like the bread is what makes a sandwich.
Yeah.
And their bread, if you remember Subway, it was found to have like plastics
Yeah. All kinds of
in the
nasty
bread
shit in there.
And plastics, by the way, they're finding plastics in people's lungs now.
Really?
They're finding plastics First of all, they find them in fish. Like, when you cut open a whale, as you do. Like, I will take a whale. I'll see a beached whale on the beach. and I always carry a big Bowie knife from the 1800s. And folks, if you're not carrying a Bowie knife from the 1800s, then what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
You need to carry something that can cut open a whale. And so what I will do is I'll see a beach whale and I will cut him open. I'll put down my iPhone 13 Pro Max.
Wow.
I will, and I'll put it in its little safe protective case. Because when I cut open a whale, there is a lot of blood.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot. I don't know. I don't know if a whale. Yeah, it has blood, and everything comes out of the whale.
Yeah.
Right? Everything, all kinds of, and because we pollute the fucking oceans, right?
Right.
We pollute them so much, not only with oil and plastics, and fish netting and garbage, needles, and I'm not talking about hypodermics. I'm talking about sewing needles. There are so many, no, I'm being serious. There are so many sewing circles right now. There are so many sewing circles in this country because people are like, I'm going to knit. I'm going to sew for my anxiety. But you people who are in sewing circles and knitting circles, you're polluting and killing fish and whales and mammals, beautiful mammals. You know how many sea turtles, majestic sea turtles, are found with knitting needles, sewing needles in them? Yes, of course, they're getting killed by the oil industry.
Yeah.
They never fucking, upgrade their equipment. The Gulf of Mexico is just a hazard to anything living, especially the people who live in Cancer Alley over there. And by the way, if you're going to name something, by the way, Louisiana Tourist Board, if you want to attract tourists, don't call it Cancer Alley.
Yeah.
Call it something like Ice Cream Alley or, Great Sunshine Alley. Cancer Alley? Let's go to Cancer. You don't hear people say, let's go to Cancer Alley. But back to the whale. I'll cut open a whale and see all these knitting needles, sewing needles from all these fucking, knitting, these sewing groups. Did any of your parents ever get into sewing?
Oh.
Any of your parents, like you have more than two?
Yeah.
Any of your elders, I call them elders,
I was raised
primary caregivers.
I was raised in a community of older people. Yeah. And
we need that. By the way, the fact that we live in capitalism, and we're in the end stages of capitalism, no longer are we raised by extended families, okay? We're so atomized. We're so all over the place. There's no more real fucking communities and families, extended families. Some people have extended families. I'm not one of them, I live on my goddamn wits. So many people have people to guide them. I do not, okay? I am a guy who carries a long Bowie knife, an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I wander the streets of whatever city I happen to be in, and I tweet on my phone, and I do stand-up comedy, and I rail about the collapse. I am someone who is just alone in this universe with some friends. Yes, I agree to you. I do have some friends, but it's not easy. It's not easy to be untethered to reality. And you come across a beached whale, and like you do, I cut it open. And I see all of the shit that this whale is ingested. Jonah comes out of the whale.
Yeah.
I see, and that's not even a metaphor. I'm talking about Jonah Hill. Do you know how many times Jonah Hill is, Jonah Hill surfs a lot here in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
And I've seen him, and a lot of times I will be on the shore and I'll be like, Jonah, watch out for the whale.
I know you love to go out and surf, out there.
When I'm into surfing, I'm into surfing reality.
Wow.
And,
deep.
Look, I don't want to get too back. We got a great show coming today. So why don't we get on with that? I just want to leave folks with carry a large Bowie knife, folks. You never know when you're going to come across a beach whale, which is a metaphor for the entire country right now. All right, we'll be right back.
As the Amazon rainforest is raised for the production of beef, we here at Morton's Steakhouse offer a free creamed corn for every species that goes extinct while you dine with us. If we determine that another bird or beetle is forever gone, the creamed corn is on us. Morton's.
All right, my guest here on Apocalypse Soon is the great, the one and only Sam Morril. I just want a little background on Sam. I used to go, doing sets and shit, and Sam was like, oh, who's this young kid? And now I look up to Sam. I'm 63. Sam is, I believe, 71. Or what? How old are you, Sammy?
I'm 35.
35.
You're one of the best. Every comic knows. It's nice. It must feel good that every comic thinks you're great.
That's really sweet. But we are now, what I wanted to talk to you was something we talked about right before we came on air. And Apocalypse Soon listeners and viewers, you don't hear everything. I want you to know that. Me and Sam had a conversation before you were here. And do you see that decor? Can you tell Sam is in Rochester? That couch looks like Rochester's soul. Gray and white, and it just shit. And Sam, we were talking about how. Yeah, go ahead.
A balcony too. Which
shit!
I don't even think the door opens. I really don't think it opens. I think it's like they know better than to let us go out there. They know that it's the jumping situation if you go out there. It's not for the view. So.
By the way, they try to make it so you can't commit suicide in a hotel. If I want to commit suicide in a hotel room, let me tell you, Holiday Inn or La Quinta, I'll fucking do it. You can fuck yourselves, okay? If I
you get the job done.
Of course.
You gotta be a little more creative. Yeah.
Yeah. Sam, you're in Rochester. You were talking about how you love to travel. I like to travel a lot too. I really do. And so you get to see the country. I mean, I don't think anyone's traveling more than you these days. And what is your sense? Because you were talking about walking around Rochester yesterday and you almost got robbed. And it's like, isn't...
Yeah, we were...
Yeah, go ahead.
We landed, first off, it was a horrible it's funny, I was talking to Jim Norton at the Comedy Cellar yesterday, and he goes, "Are you driving to Rochester?" And I said, "No, we're flying." And Norton is like, "Oh, I hate those short flights. They terrify me. The planes shake." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." So it's in my head. Then we're on the flight. It's shaking so badly that we're terrified. We're freaking out to the point that when he starts to land, it's shaking so bad that he takes back off in air. He Top Gunned it. So the guy picking me up who owns the club saw it. He goes, "I can't believe that was you. That was terrifying for me. I can't imagine." So we're freaking out. And then Gary and I go out to eat, and Gary's like,
"Gary, who were you
scared?
with?"
Gary Veter.
Okay.
He does the road with me a lot. We're walking around to get food, and we find a patchy area. And Gary's like, "How is it that we're more scared off the plane in Rochester than we are from that?" But yeah, it's a weird area. I mean, parts of Rochester are beautiful, but then you go for a walk and it turns from like Pleasantville to The Wire pretty quickly. We saw a part. There were dealers on the corner. Gary's like, "Oh, there's people out. It's safe." I was like, "Dude, they're dealers. They're on each corner. This is what drug dealers do." So a guy gets in our face and is like glossed over eyes, and it starts being like, "Can I have some money?" And then it turns into like, "Give me money." And we just kind of like backed up a little bit enough that there was a cop there, and we're like, "We're all right, I think." But then he kind of, we got an Uber, and the guy kind of followed us to the Uber, and we're like, "Please just drive." So yeah,
wow.
It was
Wow. I love that description, from Pleasantville to The Wire. And that's just a great, and me and you were talking about how the only thing we really have in America are new shows. I love Severance right now. You know, I just love the dystopian feel to it. And everybody kind of is digging that show. And I think because it touches this nerve, I think we all know we're on borrowed time at this point. Yeah, I mean, and so talk to me. Rochester, by the way, I don't know if you know, but Rochester used to be the headquarters for Kodak. And
oh, yeah. He killed himself, right?
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he killed himself because I think when Fuji was out, they went all in on film or something. They made the wrong move, whatever it was. And like it's like this city is like it's like the remnants of Kodak. It's so dark.
Yes. And by the way, that's what goes on in America is that usually it's not the CEO killing himself, but usually corporations just move overseas because they can get cheaper labor, and they just go, "Fuck you" to the people of the community. They just go, "Fuck you," you know?
Well, there's some shady looking, I mean, there's some houses that look like whatever Sunset Boulevard's equivalent in Rochester are. Like maybe they looked really good then, and now you're like, "Ugh, this is like a big, sad looking house. This doesn't look This looks pretty sad.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it once was very prosperous. It reminds me of Downton Abbey, and Lord, I forget his fucking name, but I watched every fucking episode of Downton Abbey with my wife who loved it. And I
heard it's great. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's a soap opera, Sam. It's a soap opera, very well done, but the English aristocrats couldn't keep up these huge castles, or manors, whatever the fuck they called them. And it sounds like that's what the houses you're describing in Rochester are. What is the nastiest city? Or the most scared. I mean, I know, you're doing comedy clubs, so these are always in pockets of where people come out and party and people come out, you know, safe usually. It would be funny if there was comedy clubs like right in the middle of like a war zone. Like,
you know what? Honestly, I feel like there kind of are sometimes. Like sometimes they'll say, "Just don't go down that block." I'm like, 1 block, I'm unsafe. Yeah, I remember it was in Baltimore, and I was doing a suburb, and they try to put you up in this shady ass, awful hotel down the block. So I was like, I'm staying in the city. Thinking I was like doing something really like classy. I'm like, I'm staying in the city. And then my uncle who lives there was like, this is like not safe. I heard gunshots. I also had someone call my room at 2 a.m. and I picked up and I was like, I'm up, I'm a comic, but he's like, oh, sorry. And I was like, wait, what? So then I hang up and literally 10 minutes later, my door opens. I have the deadbolt up, but some guy tries to, with a key. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is a robbery. This is a planned robbery. And I'm an idiot. I have mace with me, so I'm ready to be like macing through the door. But he's like, "Oh no, sorry."
Oh shit!
So I called the front desk to complain, and the guy was just like, "Yeah, I made a mistake. I gave another guy a key." And I was like, "No, you say sorry, dude. It's 2:30 in the morning."
Oh my God, where was that? Baltimore.
I forgot the name. It was in Baltimore. I forgot the name of the hotel. It looked like a cool look. I remember I was there with my friend JP McDade, who was doing the weekend with me, and he was like, "This is a really cool hotel, but we're in this like cool like boutique hotel in the middle of just madness."
I love that. Cool boutique hotel in the middle of fucking madness is very funny. Hello.
Well, cities got hit hard by the pandemic, so a lot of formerly nice areas now, you're like, oh shit. I mean, have you been to San Francisco lately? It's like the wealth gap is so crazy. People are either looking like they're in Dawn of the Dead or floating by on like a hovercraft. It's like Star Trek or like a zombie looking dude. It's insane.
Yeah, man. I was in Dallas, Fort Worth. And that's not to brag. It was the Fort Worth part, and
Hyenas or which one was that?
What's that?
Hyenas? Was that Club Hyenas?
No. Me and you don't play the same gigs, bud. You play all the major. I play little indie venues. It was some bar.
Well, I'm banned from Hyenas. I actually don't play there anymore. They banned me from that one. But
really? Why?
For making fun of the name of the club. It was a pretty awful thing I did.
That's
pretty
hilarious.
Disgraceful. What was in Fort
Dude,
Worth?
I stayed at a Motel 6. It was a great indie venue.
Jack Ruby's Strip Club.
Jack Ruby's Strip Club. Remember Jack Ruby who shot... who did he shoot again?
Oswald.
Oh, yeah, she shot Oswald. Not Patton, Matt. Matt Oswald. Do you know Matt Oswald? I'm kidding. Anyway, dude, I was in a Motel 6 and I woke up. I had to get to L.A. to film a fucking thing in the morning. So I was on like a fucking Spirit Airlines. They're the only airline that leaves at like 6 a.m. from Fort Worth. So I had to get a Spirit Airline flight. I got up at like 4 and I just opened my door to go into the motel and go downstairs and get the fuck out of there. And all I hear is a woman's voice as soon as I open the door from my room. They're not going to let you out. And I'm like, what? I'm barely awake, 4 a.m. You know those things when you're waking up like that, and all your bad,
Yes.
all your bad fucking dreams just flood in, and I'm like, what? And she goes, they're not going to let you out. The cops are here. The motel is a crime scene. Someone was murdered on my floor. Murdered on my floor.
Oh my God.
And I was like this. I was like, I have a fucking sitcom to do in LA. I have to get the fuck out of here. I have to get the fuck out of here. This is a $6,000 payday for me. And I just went through the lobby. And I opened the door into the outside, and I'm flooded with those police lights, the floodlights. And they're like, sir, can you step away? And I just scooted out and found my Uber. They let me go somehow. And I'm in the Uber. And the guy's asking me, hey, what's all the cops? I said, somebody got murdered. And the Uber driver started to suspect me. And he pulled,
oh my God.
He pulled over. He goes, well, why are you leaving? I go, I have a flight. I'm doing this thing. He goes, what's your name? And he stopped at a 7-Eleven, which I said, I got to get to the airport. And he stopped and he looked up this fucking crime and everything. And I'm like thinking, he's going to just drive me to like a holding center, but anyway. So
casually, you just said someone got murdered.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an icy tone to which you said that, the way you told me. I mean, maybe you're in the back of a Forensic Files episode somewhere going, I'm sad, get me out of here.
Oh my God. It'd be funny if the Uber driver was like, is it a speaking role? Yes. All right. A 5 or under. How the fuck do you know this? Just drive. So yeah,
that's wild. A murder in the hotel that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean that's when you're not at a 4 seasons. That's like a 2 seasons, maybe 1 season.
Yeah, 4 seasons is a classier type of murder, like someone maybe got strangled in a tub or something. You know what I mean? It's a different.
No, their murders are, they need to happen, and it's usually, people with great educations who need money, just like the rest of us. Like a Kodak type of thing. So where are you going? Where are you going next, buddy? You go Rochester this weekend.
Salt Lake City coming up. Another great. There's a great club in Rochester. Salt Lake City Wise Guys is a great club. Going there. Going to Brea, LA. I'll be in.
Good.
Doing some New York dates. Nashville, a lot of great places. Honestly, I feel like I never do well on stage in Nashville, but
really,
people come out. I get, I don't know if there's it's weird. I think it's too close to Huntsville, Alabama, where I really bomb. I made the mistake of making jokes about their Nazi scientists, and they were just like, "Why are you doing this? Why?"
Oh, shit.
Like, we know we have a Nazi scientist.
Yeah,
I was just making jokes that they have a von Braun, museum. I thought it would be kind of like playful, and they were like, that you can't joke about that. And I was like, all right. I dug a hole every night doing it. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help digging a hole every night in Huntsville.
Oh, there's a lot of holes dug in Huntsville.
And outside your motels, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But that is pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome that you kept doing the Ava Braun joke, even though isn't it wild how stubborn we can get? I do this joke where I go, folks, it's getting so hard. It's getting so tough out there that people are starting to live in their motorcycles. And it gets such a tepid reaction. And I just do it every night because I find it just a funny image, and
there's some jokes that you got to hold on to. They're like, every once in a while, I'm like, all right, that one's free. There's jokes in my act right now that have not hit that I just I don't know why I keep telling them. I think it's like, it makes you feel like a little more of an artist where you're like, well, this one doesn't work at all. So that's cool that I keep telling it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The road is the best. I love it. I mean, we were just in Orlando. That's a pretty depressing place. I mean, a strip mall in Orlando, and it wasn't even like a good strip mall. It was a abandoned strip mall. Like every once in a while you do a strip mall, but you're like, all right, but it's like there's energy around you. There's people walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
An abandoned strip mall is hilarious. What club was that?
Orlando Improv. It used to have a lot of foot traffic back in the day, but a lot of places just aren't the same. The club was really well run and the people were great, but I just man, Orlando is just a weird place to live. I feel like so many people there are visiting. Worst flight of my life, by the way. I mean,
another really terrible flight.
Yeah, for different reasons. This flight just takes like an hour to board because everyone's either 97 or 3.
Yeah.
Brutal. And then just screaming the whole flight. That's also the flight I came down with COVID on. I found out later. I didn't realize.
Exactly.
So I got COVID, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to say that before the pandemic, dude, I had to go to Orlando. And this is before the pandemic, a few years before, not to brag. And one of my friends was afraid of flying, lifelong friend. I said, all right, we'll take the fucking train. We took an Amtrak train to Orlando, and at some point, like you just
from where?
Penn Station.
Penn Station. Wow, that's a long.
It was. It was horrible. It was horrible. We didn't have a sleeper car, and we got there, and and all these kids came on at some point. Just tons of kids. And somebody, their chaperone, said, by the way, they have measles. These kids have measles. And my friend got really sick. Like,
what?
Yeah. Measles. I didn't even know measles still.
What was it? The Oregon Trail you were taking to Orlando? This is crazy.
Look.
Measles. That's crazy. Orlando is... that's a tough place to be an adult. I feel like no adult there is happy. There's a lot of weird business conferences going on there, and then of course Disney. But man, Orlando is just. I also noticed I was the only one there without a leg tattoo by the pool. I'm like, everyone who's got a freaking leg tattoo. I missed the memo. I mean, I also was probably the only person with shoulder hair there, but
shoulder hair. That's
what are you going to do? A lot of good bodies. Good bodies.
Yes, yes. But Florida. Did you see the movie Florida Project?
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
It's fucking heartbreaking. It takes place in Orlando, in one of those little fucking motels.
It's a really good movie, but it's like one of those movies where I was just anxious. It's like it was one of those movies I admire, but I think I was miserable the whole time watching it. I was just like, this is just making me so depressed. I took my mom to see it, thinking it was going to be some like. I was like, well, it's got good reviews. I just was like, we'll just see a good. My mom's into movies, and we were both at the end. We were both like, well, it was really well made. But it was one of those movies that just like he's a great filmmaker, that guy. But
what's his name again? What's his name?
Something Baker. So he just did that movie with Simon Rex. He just did that movie Red Rocket.
Sean Baker is the name of the director. But man, that is America right there. And they showed it where these people would go from their to these horrible projects where they were barely surviving, and they were close to Disneyland. It was just so fucked up.
Isn't that that right there, it's like, man, you just don't think about that. Everyone's going there to have their fun, not thinking that this is people's lives. And,
man.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Well, Sam, thank you so much for speaking about the decline of America. You're doing a great job in the decline. You are fucking going all over.
Fun.
Yeah, you're having fun, and I'm trying to do that too. And just hope we survive, this catastrophe that awaits us all. I mean, I always tell audiences now, Sam, I say to them, folks, I timed my life right. You people, and especially your children, are definitely going to be fleeing something.
There's going to be running. I'm working on my cardio right now. I mean, this is going to be bad. I can't drive either, so I'm worthless.
You can't drive?
I really have to work on my wind. Yeah, this sucks. I'm so glad you have a podcast now. And anytime you don't have a guest, call me, man.
All right.
It's fun as hell to talk to you.
I love you, Sammy. You're doing great, man.
Love you, Eddie.
I'll talk to you soon.
You too, man.
Bye.
All
right, kids. That was the great Sam Morril. He is going through the decline in America with grace and dignity, and he's making money. So he is saving up for a little compound of his own. And that's why we travel. That's why comedians travel. Is that we need money to shelter ourselves. And I also need Patreon money. So if you're listening and you haven't become a Patreon member, patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone. Get on the Pepitone train. Get on the Pepitone train. I got measles on a train to Orlando. I got dysentery on a bus to Atlanta. Come on aboard the public transportation Pepitone. All right, we'll be back after this.
We here at Monsanto, or Bayer, or whatever we fucking call ourselves now to avoid lawsuits, would like you to know we are working on your death. We never stop. We won't rest until you are dead. Monsanto, you can taste us in the water.
And now, Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. So I got into my car and it was raining like a son of a bitch. I'm talking about the worst son of a bitch in the world, the kind of son of a bitch who wouldn't give you a bite of their sandwich if they had a 6-foot-long hero and you were starving. That kind of rain was coming down. It was coming down like a son of a bitch who would lock you in a closet, and it would make you listen to them having sex with the most beautiful people in the world, and you'd be in that closet wanting to get out of the closet, which had on a padlock, and a damn good padlock. And you heard incredible sex, the kind of sex that you only think is unreal, and you're like, God damn it, get me out of this. That's the kind of rain that was falling, and I drove. I started to drive 3 a.m. I like to drive at 3 a.m. because the people who are out on the streets in the rain at 3 a.m. are what I like to call hardy. They're like sailors. They have beards. The only people you see at 3 a.m. during the driving rain are people with beards lugging around baskets and shopping carts and canvas sacks and knapsacks and plastic bag full of bullshit. But they don't care that they're lugging around bullshit. You know why? Because they're hardy. They're sea people. And sea people are good people. I love sea people, and that was the only thing. The rain pounding down. I lit a cigarette, and the ash fell on my knee, and it burned through my new pair of Patagonia hemp pants. I started trying to put it out, but I said to myself, you know what? Let the pants burn. So there I am, if you can picture it, riding through the streets of Los Angeles, a lot of semen all over the place, not only by my feet in the car, but semen on the streets, lugging bullshit, and my pants are on fire. Oh my God. The one thing that flooded into my brain was the comic actor Marty Feldman and his incredible turn on what the hell is the name of that movie? Young Frankenstein. Marty Feldman on Young Frankenstein. I'll never forget that movie because I felt good for those 2 hours of that movie, and right now my pants were on fire. I was surrounded by semen on the street, semen at my feet, and all of a sudden a truck pulled ahead of me, and the truck had a bumper sticker that said, "Go fuck yourself, asshole." And I gave the truck a honk, and I pulled up to the driver. The rain was pounding. The rain was coming down in torrents. You ever see The Perfect Storm with Wahlberg and Clooney and a third guy? You ever see that? There were 3 good actors. I forget what it was, but man, this was a perfect storm. This rain tonight, it was like I felt sorry for the seamen, and I'm not talking about the seamen at my feet. I'm talking about I felt sorry for the seamen who were actually out on the ocean. Because this rain, the rain on the waves must have been incredible. And I'll tell you, when I saw Wahlberg in The Perfect Storm, I said, this kid has range, but where am I right now? I was pulling next to the truck, and I said, hey, what kind of fucking bumper sticker is that? What kind of message is that to send? Especially to the youth in a crumbling empire. Go fuck yourself, you say? How about I tell you I love you? I was using reverse psychology on the trucker. As the rain came down, it came down steady. It came down steady, like going steady. You ever go steady with a girl and it was so steady you didn't have to worry about where she was? Like she wouldn't come home till 4 a.m., but you knew that she had a reason. Yeah, she may have been covered in alcohol and her stockings ripped, but you knew that you were going steady with her and that she had a good explanation. And she told you she got hypnotized by a magician at a show, and you believed her because you were going steady. But then you found out later that she was psychotic and she was sleeping around with all kinds of tradesmen. She was sleeping around with plumbers. She was sleeping around with bakers. She was sleeping around with bands. I'm talking about entire bands. She would sleep with Def Leppard. She would sleep with Coldplay. She would sleep with all these bands. She would sleep with the Monkees. And I'm not talking about Davy Jones, Mickey Dolenz, all those guys. She would sleep with monkeys in the zoo. You found all this out later. But that's neither hither nor thither, who were a great vaudeville team. Hither. Yes, thither. Anyway, I digress. The trucker didn't know what to do when I said to him, I love you. Our eyes met, and I could tell that he was stunned. And I said, hey, maybe you rethink your bumper sticker. And I drove off into the LA night, my pants on fire, the Patagonia hemp burning, the semen at my feet, the semen on the street, and I just floored it into the rain. Hey, everybody, that's another episode of Apocalypse Soon. That's right, everybody. And again, I want to remind you, write a review. Write a review about this podcast. And I'm not talking on Substack or your blog. I'm talking on iTunes. Right, Kev? Where do they write the reviews?
Go on to iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, write us a review, and it helps out a ton. It pushes the algorithm. Make sure to follow Eddie and the podcast on all social media. And yeah, share, go to your family reunion, share some Apocalypse Soon clips.
Yeah, and become a Patreon member. The people who have are very happy with the Patreon status. You could chat with me on Patreon. There's some benefits to Patreon, and the big benefit is for me. And
that's right.
And who knows? Maybe it'll trickle down to Kevin.
Hey, God willing. But yeah, people will get some stand-up clips of you. The interview that you did was great too. The kind of the Ask Me Anything AMA deal, and yeah, go check it out.
Yeah. All right. So that was another episode, and thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye.